Number 5 from the worksheet. Rather than drawing it like an arch, I'm going to draw it like a soccer goal. And I'm going to do it 3-dimensionally here. And then, ooh, that's horrible. Goodness. And I'm going to do a top view and then a side view. Okay with that? So I've got current going from right to the left. So here is the top piece. It's going up out of the page and into the page there. Is everybody okay with that? Okay. Now, the top view is the easiest one to see. If I'm looking for the magnetic field produced by this this side, this end post, my thumb's going out of the page and it's going around like this. It's a magnetic field. Around this end post, thumb's going into the page. So the magnetic field's going around like this. And then around this top crossbar, magnetic field's going this way. Underneath that crossbar, the magnetic field is doing that. How are we doing with that idea there? So when you stick a compass in there, it's just going to point in the direction of the magnetic field. So it's going this way, this way, this way, this way, this way, this way, that way, that way. I can't remember how many other compasses, but does that make sense? The idea there. Okay. All right. Today's lesson. If you would join me back in the back, please. What I have here is a really strong magnet. Okay. So like trying to get this through here is like okay, strong, good. You can try it later. So I've got a paper clip. If I drop this just so, sometimes I can get it to orbit. Oh, that was close. Whoa. Something like that. Does that make sense? Okay, so really strong magnet. Now, is copper attracted to a magnet? No. Okay, so I have a copper wire. It's hooked up to our green power supply. Okay. And this guy, nothing. Okay. As anticipated. Now, what I have is I've hooked this up as a short circuit. So if I turn on the power, I've got current going to be flowing through this wire. That's in a magnetic field. What do you think is going to happen when I turn on the power? This wire will experience a starts with an F, rhymes with horse. Good job. Experiences a force because now we have moving charged particles going through an already existing external magnetic field. That makes sense? Okay. Now to determine the direction of that force, this is the North Pole, this is the South Pole. So which way is the magnetic field lines going in this gap here? This is north, this is south. Which way are the magnetic field lines going? Out of north into south, going this way. Okay. Which way does current flow? Out of positive into negative. So in this section of the wire here, which way is current flowing? This way, towards the green box. So when I turn on the power, which way is this wire going to be forced? Takes your right hand to figure it out. What do you think I'm going to stick? Okay, so thumb was direction of velocity, right? I'm going to use the thumb as direction of current. Does that make sense, the connection there? Like which way the things are going? Okay, so magnetic field's going this way. Current's going this way. Which way is the wire going to be forced? Towards. Down. Your hand should look like this. It's going to go down because they're electrons, right?
So we got that part.
Ready?
No way.
Here we go.
They're electrons, right?
Whoa. Ah! We were right? Yeah.
Went up. Okay. Now, if in your brain you're thinking, wait a minute, there's electrons in there. Okay. If you were completely fine with my presentation and had no qualms about it and there was not a thought in your mind about doing anything, okay, that's fine. I would say you're a conventionalist. You are a Ben Franklin follower. He believed that positive things were flowing and the world is set up for you. Okay? Continue to do that. It's not a problem. Okay? It's actually more convenient. But if in your brain you're like, wait a minute, there's nothing going, there's just electrons, then I would say you're a realist. And that is fine. Just recognize the world is set up for conventionalists. Okay? When I was in your shoes, I was a realist. Okay? I was like, that's just stupid. Now I can dance. It doesn't matter. I can go either way. But so so if you're good with being a conventionalist, ignore this next part. Okay? You're fine. You're good. Like it'll work always for you. Okay? But if you're a realist and you're like, those are electrons, which way do electrons flow? Out of negative into positive. So electrons are going this way. The field is still that way. So which way are electrons going to be forced? So here's my warning. You pick conventionalist or realist, and you will be fine. Where you get messed up is when you dabble in both. It's got to be all or nothing. Okay? Either say in current, positive things are flowing, we're just going to go with it, you'll be fine. You're like, no, they're electrons. Then you got to remember that electrons go in the opposite direction of current. Either way, doing the Ben Franklin thing is easier. Okay? And I'll present Ben Franklin. Okay? So, if you would like to feel how strong this is. Just grab this wire and I'll turn the power on and off. Just grab that. And I'll grab that wire and I'll turn it on and off. Okay. Next.
Oh, that is weird.
That is weird.
It's like, if you just like, I want to see him get the paper clip fly around again.
What? That's so weird.
Oh. The force is with us is what she said.
You hear this? This it's a short.
Paper clip to fly around.
You just gotta throw it in the right distance, right speed.
I want to see you do it. That's what I was learning.
I got it rubbed.
He said, I got it rubbed.
I rubbed it right. That's interesting.
That's so funny.
Anybody else?
I need to rub it again.
All right. Have a seat.
Can I try the
Later. We can get this.
Can I do this?
Later.
I got it rubbed.
All right.
Two groups are doing conference. Oh, it's two. Two groups are max. Yeah, 2, 3, and 4. Yeah, one group's doing the bench between the other one's doing squat. Group 4 was supposed to be like red ball throws and curls, red ball throws and biceps, but they had to switch it because you go straight bar curls, red ball throws, and then but for us, me and Maya, we just two open spots. So I did it.
All right. So, classic horseshoe magnet creates a magnetic field going across. Stick your thumb in the direction of current. Ben Franklin thought that positive things were flowing, so you push with the palm. Go to that. So you get a magnetic force going up. Okay. Give that one a shot. Tell your neighbor. Show your neighbor.
Direction. Oh, yeah. I was thinking
But like, I don't know.
All right, here we go. Correct answer is? Correct answer is A. Okay. So your magnetic field, your fingers go to the left. Current is going into the board. So your thumb going into the board. We consider current to be positively charged. It's forced up. Direction of the palm. Okay. Next one. Have a conversation. So, what is your fingers glassing?
I don't know. So I'm kind of getting confused with like where to put it. Because the last one I was thinking like since the force was going around, like to have it go that way. So it's just
Okay.
like getting it in the right spot
Right.
is very tricky.
Right. Okay. So your fingers are your magnetic field. Okay. There's usually lots of arrows for magnetic field. So you stick your fingers in that direction. Okay. So in this case, which way is your field going?
From north to south.
Right. So they, in this case, they're going to the left.
I think either way, you
So keep your hand flat and stick your fingers to the left.
Yeah.
Okay, well, how do you because when there's because remember when there's
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now, what does your thumb go with?
The current or like
Yeah.
velocity.
Yeah. And so it's going to be forced which way?
This way.
Yeah.
So that would just be F.
Correct answer is? Correct answer is F. Okay. So your fingers are going in the direction of the magnetic field. Your thumb goes in the direction of current. We assume they're positive things flowing because that's what Ben thought. Out of the page. Tell your neighbor and tell them why. Correct answer is G, because magnetic field lines are parallel to the current, no force. Okay, so the biggest or the most popular application of this phenomena is electric motors. Okay, so if we could boil down an electric motor to the most basic parts, you'd have a magnet that creates a magnetic field, and you have a loop of wire that you make current go through it. Okay, so in this case, you've got a magnetic field, north pole, south pole. Magnetic field's going out of north into south. You have a loop of wire. I want to look at this wire here. Current is going to be going to the right. Which way is this top part of the loop going to be forced? If you've got magnetic field going down and you got current going to the right, which way is that going to be forced? Magnetic field's going down, current's going to the right. This is going to be forced into the board. Does that make sense? Going into the board. Which way is this part going to be forced? Why no force? The current is going parallel to the magnetic field. Show me which way this is going to be forced. Magnetic field is still going down. Current now is going to the left. Which way is this side going to be forced? Out of the page. This side is just like this side, no force. So how is something going to move if this top part gets forced in and this bottom part gets forced out? See how it's going to rotate? And this, my friends, oh, wait a minute, wait for it. Come on, mousy. Is how an electric motor works. Okay, this is engineered so that the current will always be going this way in the top part and always this way in the bottom. These are called brushes. If you ever heard of battery powered tools, they'll advertise these are brushless motors. This is the brush. This contraption that always makes current go one way. Okay, but these parts wear out over time. That's why it's okay. So good with that? Give that one a shot.
I was just saying, hey, I need one more. Look, I can find it. It's
Tell your neighbor. Tell your neighbor and tell them why.
Oh, you're right. I can't get it to serve.
Correct answer is creepy crabs. Like it. That is a good one. Okay, so on the left side, thumb's going up. Fingers are always going to go to the right in this example, into the board. Parallel, no force. This one's coming out. Parallel, no force. Good? Okay, come on back yet again. Okay. If you have ever taken apart an electric device that has a moving part in it, you will find an electric motor. These are all examples of electric motors. Okay. So if we catch her, guy likes to get away. So if we hook these up, turn it on. It is. Okay, that guy's a little sick. All right.
Yeah, what toy was that?
I don't know. I haven't plugged this one up. I don't know if this one
Like
works.
an Elmo or something.
Oh, that's so.
It's dead.
That looks angry.
Okay. That's quiet. These little guys, these are fun. They are. Oh, 5. That's too much. Ooh, get on there.
Blow it up.
Dentist.
Oh,
God.
look, you can see it's barking.
And it's
Oh, I was short circuiting it. Okay.
There's some like
So-
sparks in that one.
Yeah. If you take apart a motor, what you will find on the inside of the case ooh, the red and green are magnets, creating the magnetic field. Okay. And then you've got inside, you've got loops of wire wrapped around iron core, which helps strengthens the magnetic field. Okay. And so that is the essence. And pass that around. Here's another one.
I thought it was just an idiot.
So these little guys, these are actually pretty cool. They're so small that they've like you can see the guts.
What?
And pass those around. Okay. Now, if you this is designed. There's 3 loops actually. The brushes are these things here that fit like that. Ooh, that is so awkward. Okay, these are the brushes that rub on this post here. This is the thing that wears out over time. And what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to be the brushes. Yeah. So I'm going to turn on the current. So here's the idea. These have 3 bundles, 3 loops. So 2 out of the 3 loops are getting current going through it. Forces it, and then as it spins, there's always 2 out of the 3 loops that are getting current through it. I've seen some motors that have 5 bundles, and it's kind of like it just makes it smoother and more powerful, just like going from 4-cylinder engine to an 8-cylinder engine. It's just if you're familiar with that. Oh, side note. So an engine is required, like takes gasoline. A motor is electric. Okay, so they're not interchangeable, but don't go around thinking like telling people, "Oh, your electric car." Well, technically, it's got a motor, not an engine. Like, thanks. Okay. So sometimes I get this, sometimes I don't. Oh, there it is.
She is the brush.
I am the brush.
I don't know. That's what they're trying to say. Yeah, I know. I don't know. I was just saying Get in there.
Good with that. Good. Okay. So,
The brush.
motors.
Motors.
That's how that works. Right. Have a seat.
I do that now.
It's basically the same as the other.
Thank you.
Can we do the wrench? Rating the weight.
Hold on. All right. These last 3 questions are pretty involved. Give this one a shot. So, which right-hand rule are you using? The first one. You just have a wire with current going through it. You're trying to determine the magnetic field that it creates. So you're just using right-hand rule number 1. Correct answer is E. It's going into the board. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, there's a magnetic field going into the board here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drop a second wire with current going in it at this location. I want to know which way is wire 2 going to experience a force because it's in the magnetic field that's created by this guy. Okay, so the fact that you're looking for a force screams you need to use the second right-hand rule. Okay, we established the fact that there's a magnetic field going into the board, right? From this guy. Does that make sense? And we drop this guy in that, which has current going to the right. My finger's going into the board. This guy's going to experience a force up. Okay? Does that make sense? I want you to do the exact same process, but now I'm going to flip it. I'm going to say, what's the direction of the force on wire 1 due to the current going through wire 2? Correct answer is A. Okay, here we go. Ready? Magnetic field from wire 2 above it is coming out of the page. Does that make sense? It's coming out of the page from wire 2. This, wire 1, finds itself in this magnetic field. So fingers coming out, thumbs going to the right. It's going to be forced down. The shortcut to that is it obeys Newton's third law. Wire 2 experiences a force going up. Wire 1 experiences a force going down. Good with that? No homework this weekend.